What's up, Kansas City? I'm Oprah Brown. I'm here with Ray, one of the faces of Stop the Violence Kansas City. Ray, could you tell us a little bit about this movement?
Stop the Violence KC is actually not a movement. It is more of a message that we wanted to imply to our city. A lot of people, thought we were taking on the task of stopping violence, but that's not the case at all, because unfortunately we're not superheroes. We wanted to basically have a message for the city that they can, take part of, be a part of. We took advantage of Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, how they use hashtags, and Stop the Violence KC was something that was catchy that everyone could use and, and be positive, be a part of.
So how can someone be a part of the Stop the Violence message?
Anyone can actually do it. I mean, really it takes you wanting to be your own person and, speak to your friends, speak to your family members. If you know that they out there doing negative things, encouragement goes a long way. If they actually want to be involved with the organization, they can email us at stoptheviolencekc@hotmail.com. Also visit the website, which is stoptheviolencekc.com.
So why is this something that you guys chose to do? I mean, because we know we have our officers here, we have other people that can do this. Why did you guys particularly pick this movement or message?
It was more because we're a younger group. A lot of the organizations that are around Kansas City, they're a little bit older, and they don't know how to connect with the youth. And we're talking about the teens all the way up to my age, the 20s and 30s. They don't connect with our generation. So we definitely felt the need to have someone in our age bracket where people can be involved in and say, hey, this is my own people, my own age group, trying to do something positive. How can I help and be a part of it?
Right. Is it personal to you?
In a way, it is personal. I did lose my sister. She was a victim of a homicide back in 2000. And at that time, I was not ready to, say Stop the Violence KC. I had a lot of hurt, a lot of anger in my heart leading to that. But when we started the organization in 2012, it was a lot going on that year. And, Kansas City was just, it was basically a bad January through that time, April. It was just a bad time for Kansas City. We just wanted to reach out and do something different.
Do you feel as if it's been effective since you guys started the message?
I believe so, and I say that because we do a lot of mentoring. We may not reach the people who are actually in the streets. However, when I do talk to my friends or people that I know that, have a rough background or out here doing things they shouldn't, I talk to them because I hate to see them, in jail or going to prison. And as I stated before, encouragement, talk to your friends go a long way. They'll listen to you quicker than they'll listen to the news or, other activists.
Right. So let's discuss violence. Why do you think violence is so high here in Kansas City?
A lot of times it's betrayal, it's money, especially what's going on now. It's a lot of snitching that creates a lot of this violence that's happening. It's a lot of reasons. The funny thing is, it's not even gang related like it used to be in the past. It's more friends killing friends or associates killing friends behind drug offenses or whatever may be the case. Also, there's a lot of domestic violence cases that's going on as well, and that's something that we try to hit on a lot.
So do you think I should do like a Stop the Drugs movement or something similar, because to touch on the different reasons why violence occurs?
Not necessarily, because Stop the Violence is a broad message. It's not saying stop the killing, stop the abuse, stop the snitching. It's violence in a whole. Child abuse, neglect, fighting, shootings, everything. It's basically everything that fits under violence is in our name.
Okay, so what do you guys do? How do you move throughout the city?
What do you mean? Have to be like in a band?
No, like what do you guys do? Like, how are you touching the city? Do you guys go to schools and speak? What do you guys do?
Yes, we have been in schools. We have been in residential facilities that house youth that's been in trouble. I've spoken to a lot of youth that are in juvenile facilities, group homes, church groups. I've been invited to speak there. I mean, I probably speak to 3 different groups on a weekly basis, depending on the schedule. And a lot of people don't know that because I don't broadcast everything that we do, but like it's some little guys up at a facility up north. I had the opportunity to speak with them, and they have been emailing me, keeping in touch, and that's right there. That's a blessing because I may not reach a lot, but I am reaching a few.
So what do you do at the schools?
Just speak, tell them about my history, tell them about my past, because I did have a rough upbringing, and I feel I am somebody that they can relate to. A lot of times they see the white collar guys come in with suit and ties trying to speak about violence or things that happen throughout the city, and they can't relate to that simply because they're in a suit. They want to see people that are dressed like them.
Right. So what area did you grow up in?
51st and Euclid and 58th and Chestnut.
Okay, so how are they receiving you now that you started this message?
My friends are actually okay with it. We always joke about what I used to do, the fights we used to have, and that's just a blessing that we can sit and joke about it, and we're not in jail or we're not in prison. So, I had some that wasn't the best supporters, but for the most part, people love what I'm doing.
So you guys used to do the kickball, and you guys recently had a bowling event.
Yep.
Are you guys still doing those events, or?
We did. The bowling event was the day before the 4th of July. It was a success. Over 300 people came out. There were no incidents. Last year's was a success as well. We like to do the different type of events that bring everybody together. Not basketball is easy to do. People like to bowl. They like to do the kickball, dodgeball. We did a volleyball event as well. So, like to have fun as well as spread a positive message.
Now, when people go to these events, do they see? I mean, I know they're there for Stop the Violence, but is there like a guest speaker, or to kind of give awareness to the the message, or?
Not at these events because I don't want to lose the group. We have other events that we do speak at where the public is invited to come out. But when we do the activities, it's just more come out and have fun, and just keep in mind we're having fun for a good cause.
So what are the other events you have coming up?
We have the Hydrate the City, which is in its 3rd year. That is the Arthur M. Lewis project. It was started with my guy Mario. He lost his grandfather to dehydration one summer. So every year going forward, we decided to, just get some water and go up and down the streets of Kansas City and pass out water to everyone that's in need. Not just homeless. It could be bus drivers, people on the bus stop, anybody.
Right. So how do you separate your personal life from, the message? Or is that separate, or is it just one entity?
It is separate. I've learned how to really, calm down and be a different person, because when I first started, I didn't realize how many people was looking at me to be this positive voice. So of course, Twitter, Instagram, the social medias, I was still saying and doing things that some would deem as inappropriate, but in my mind, I'm just being myself. And I felt like that's a key element, is to be yourself regardless, as long as I'm still, speaking the message and living behind the message of Stop the Violence KC. It's okay to be yourself.
Okay. So
What do you laugh for?
I'm not laughing for any reason. No, I feel that. I mean, it's always okay to be yourself. Now,
Are you laughing?
I'm not.
What's going on here?
I'm just laughing because
Wendy Williams don't laugh. What is this?
It's nothing. I was gonna say, so now that you separate the two people, or the two, so you do other events besides Stop the Violence Shield. You host events, you host parties, so that's separate, right?
Correct.
But you represent Stop the Violence shirts when you do this, or you just dress in regular attire?
Anywhere I go, like if you see me in pictures, ever since I started Stop the Violence KC, it's been mainly with these t-shirts. I have 50 t-shirts in my closet, all different colors. And I wear them just because you never know who I may run into. And it was funny because someone also asked me, why do I always wear the t-shirts? And I told them it's a way of promoting, my brand. I was at Quick Trip, and this guy that actually works at UMKC asked me, where did I get the t-shirt from? And I told him it's my organization, and he, gave me a business card, gave him mine. He wanted me to come speak to some kids, that his group that he works with. So that's one of the reasons why I always wear these t-shirts, even if I'm hosting events, unless it's more of a formal event. That's when the reg will get clean.
Oh God, are you a comedian?
I am very funny.
Tell us a joke. I didn't think so.
Look at Oprah. See that?
Or whatever. If there's a message that you can give to Kansas City right now about the violence, like what is something that you would tell Kansas City?
I would just like Kansas City, foremost is to speak to your friends, talk to your friends, talk to your family members, because you can't wait until they're in the ground or they're in the jail.
Ray, we really appreciate what you do here in Kansas City. If there's any message that you can give to Kansas City, what would it be?
It would just be more of the message, to encourage our friends, family members to do and want more in life. I know there are guys out here that this is their way of life. They get it how they live it, and I get that. I understand that. However, you can't wait until they're in the cemetery or they're in jail before you preach positivity. We tend to listen to our friends more than anybody. People go to church all the time. They leave church with a message and they forget about it. But I guarantee if you sit next to your friend and you actually sit down and talk to them, that message you deliver is going to stick with them a whole lot longer than an outsider.
I agree. So when the violence occurs in Kansas City, and do you reach out to the families personally? Do your team, you guys reach out to the families, or?
Actually, we do not. We've been asked to do visuals, and one thing about our organization, I do not believe in visuals. I will take place in them if I'm personally asked. However, visuals to me, you've already, it's too late by then. Other organizations, they do that. I just feel like we could have prevented that, and people go to vigils all the time and then they leave doing the same thing. So I would rather spend my time on people who want to listen and make a difference rather than 100 people gather around and then as soon as it's over, they're going to go back to their same lifestyle.
So like, what are ways that we can prevent the violence? Like, I understand, you said the drugs and the snitching, but like, what are things we can do in our lives to prevent violence?
In this day and age, it's very hard. It's a lot more difficult because we seem to be against one another rather than supporting one another and holding that brotherhood and sisterhood up like they once did back in the 70s. It's just so much competition, and that's one of the things that's killing us. Everybody wants to outshine the next. So, the main thing that we could do to prevent violence is basically, to remove yourself from those situations. I know personally if my friend is about to go do something, if I can't reach out to them, I'm not going to be involved in it. And a lot of times people, I call them test dummies and crash dummies because they just roll, instead of having a sense of using their mind, they just want to be down so bad. And, adults suffer from peer pressure all the time. A lot of people don't want to be involved in this stuff, but they get caught up in wanting to be hard or wanting to be down that, it leads to more.
Now, do you think that if we kind of touch on the things that creates violence, like to start something that prevents those things from happening, then we can eventually prevent violence from happening? Like the economy, like violence could occur because the economy is not doing well. People feel as if they need to go to the underworld to make money, then they start selling drugs. And so if we kind of build our black economy up, then we could probably prevent a lot of people from doing things that want to make them go into that world that causes violence. You understand?
Yeah, that's very true. And a lot of times with, let's say, convicts, people who have felons, of course, that's all they have is the streets. That's all they know. I don't believe we have a lot of resources here in Kansas City that will get them on the right path. They're getting out of jail and they're going right back into that environment that got them in jail because there's nothing else out here.
Right.
There are programs. I'm not going to say that. There are programs that help. But then there are a lot of times once they go through those programs, jobs still don't hire them. And then they're left, struggling. How do I feed my family?
Right.
And I think that is one of the key elements. How can we keep people out of prison? The people that get out of prison, how can we keep them out of prison? The people that's regular civilians, how can we keep them out of prison and on the right path? Of course, like you said, people are going to do drugs. That's just, they see the fast money, they see the lifestyle. If we can reach the youth before they get to that level, that is where I'm more focused on.
Right. That is for the youth. So do you guys go to like the lower income, like public housing type areas? And like for instance, TV Watkins, I know they have the Climber Center. Do you guys go there and probably speak to during community events?
No, we have actually never been down that area speaking. Majority of our speaking and mentoring that we do, people call us and ask us, they request, for us to come out and be a part of an event. Say for instance, there was a community event at a center down north, I want to say off 5th Street. They reached out to us to be a part of that event. So I don't necessarily take it out on my own time and say, hey, let me go visit this place. It's more on if they, ask us to be a part of something.
So they contact you, or is there other people they contact, and then you're like the face of it, or are you the contact as well?
They send an email to us, and basically whoever responds to the email, if it's like an all-girls event, of course, I'll send the ladies that are involved with Stop the Violence KC. When we did our church event at Calvary Christian Church, I believe is the name, it was two of us, me and another lady went, and it was a great turnout. It was a youth summit, so it really depends. You know, we have women, we have men. Now's home, Haley home. It's a lot of homes reach out to us to be a part, and that was my main purpose of was creating some type of element where I can give back to the city, and I feel like Stop the Violence KC has given me that opportunity.
And you feel like it's making you a better person?
Definitely has. It's making me a lot calmer. You know, it's made me control situations a whole lot better. You know, and just basically sit back and think before I react, because before it was just react first. And now, because I am a face of an organization that promotes peace, a lot of people are looking at me.
Right. Well, if there's nothing else for Kansas City, how can we contact you besides Twitter?
You can actually, like I said, email us at stoptheviolencekc@hotmail.com. The website is stoptheviolencekc.com. My personal telephone number is 816-547-6842. I take calls from anyone, parents. If you have a teen that could use a mentor, big brother, call me. I'll be more than happy to sit down and speak with you and, you know, reach out to your kid. You know, of course, Twitter is Stop Violence KC, and then Facebook is Stop the Violence KC. We got to stay, you know what I'm saying, with the social medias, because that's where everybody seems to be heading.
Right. All right, is there anything else you'd like to share with Kansas City?
Is there anything you would like to share with Kansas City?
No.
You sure?
I'm so positive.
Yeah, okay. Be on the lookout for Hydrate the City. We'll be asking for water in the next coming up weeks. When it gets real hot out there, we'll be passing it out. So, you know, if you could donate water or money, ice, whatever, it's definitely appreciated.
All right, Kansas City, I'm Oprah Brown, and don't forget to check out other videos at whatsupkansascity.net. It's been fun interviewing with Ray the Jerk, or Ray, rather. Thank you for stopping by, Ray. Thanks, Kansas City. Goodbye.
What's up, Kansas City? We are Cascade Media Group.
CMG is calling all small businesses, organizations, solicitors of products or services that would like to reach their KC Metro viewers and would like our help.
We produce commercials, promote, advertise, and film events. Not to mention display company banners, including a link to your website on either of our sites.
That's whatsupkansascity.net, the premier outlet for Kansas City.
Or CascadeSports.tv, home of the student athletes.
If you're interested, contact CMG at 816-389-0259.
Or email us at mgcascademediagroup@hotmail.com.
And remember,
It pays to advertise.